Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to make a super short video. Like many people, I received my Nirvana KOKORO, and I'm going to do a quick comparison on the subtle differences between the production rod and the Falcon prototype that I've done several videos on recently. But before I get started, I'm going to announce that I have 4 more rods that I'm going to put up for sale. They are actually all Tanuki rods. I've got a lot of Tanuki rods, and these 4 I'm willing to part with. The first one is the Pocket Ninja. This is the Outbound Adventurer 320, so it's 10.5 feet. It's the trout skin variation. I've made a couple videos on it. It's a great rod. I just have several Pocket Ninjas as well as other pocket rods. This one I have fished probably 3 times, I believe. One was in the Wisconsin Driftless, and I've made a couple local videos with it as well. And all of these are like new, I should add. This one is the Bare Bones Nymphing Pro 360. It's a little, well, it's made for nymphing, just like it says. Very comfortable grip. It's a smooth grip and very sensitive. It does have a very stout, backbone to it for nymphing. Good hook sets, will handle very good fish. It's a beautiful rod, and I've only used that one I think twice. Now you kind of understand why I am selling them. I just have too many rods to spend a lot of time with. The third one is the Tanuki 375. Obviously it's the red camo grip. But this is a beautiful rod as well. And again, it's hard for me to part with these, but this one, for instance, I've only fished with, I think, twice. I made one video catching some golden trout up in the wilderness with it, and it is just a very nice rod. I prefer actually the foam handled versions of the Tanukis as far as their casting performance, as opposed to some of the solid handled versions. This one was very hard for me to put up for sale, but it is the Shinobi, and it is the Dragon Carp carbon handle. It kind of looks like it has scales. It is slightly textured. Just a wonderful rod. And I've gone back and forth on this. I'm going to put it up, see if there's any interest in it. I had some people when I sold a bunch of rods earlier this year that asked about this, and at the time I wasn't willing to part with it. But I think I'm ready to find it a new home. So again, have made a few videos with this, again, like new. So if you're interested in any of those rods, I'm going to sell them essentially for 30% off the retail price, so you can look to see what they are, on the Tanuki website, and do some math from there. But feel free to message me or email me, text me if you have my number, and if you have any questions on it. So let's get down to the job at hand here. So the Nirvana KOKORO 360 and the Falcon 360 prototype rod. And so how are they different? So when Brent sent me the KOKORO, he said it is slightly lighter and slightly softer than the Falcon. Obviously, when I took it out of the box, it is very nice cork. This is very high-end cork relative to the prototype, which makes sense. They're not going to go to the expense of putting the best cork on their test mule, if you will. But visually they are very similar. I mean, the logos, the labeling, the design that you can see in the gloss finish, it's all the same. Obviously the cork is much nicer on the production model. So the first thing I did, based on what Brent told me, is I put them both on the scale. And again, Tom confirmed this. He got about a 4-gram difference lighter for the production, and I did as well in that 4 to 5 gram range. My scale is not a fancy or expensive one. It doesn't go down to tenths of a gram like Tom's does, but I got roughly the same measurements, 4 to 5 grams lighter. The other thing I noticed when I extended them and put them side by side, is the KOKORO is just a touch shorter than the production. Now I took the sections apart, put them all side by side, and they're all identical. There was one section, I want to say it was the third, maybe the second one from the tip, that was about an 1/8 to maybe a 1/16 of an inch somewhere, just slightest bit difference in length. The rest were all identical, but fully extended. I got about 1.5 to 1.75 inches, and Tom got 3.5 centimeters. So very similar in the fact that it just extends just slightly less for whatever reason. I don't have a good explanation or reason. Like I said, all the segment lengths were essentially identical. The other thing, I guess, investigating the weight difference a little bit more is one thing that Brent suggested is that because of the premium cork and less filler perhaps, that sort of thing, he said that the weight difference might be in the handle section. So I threw them on the scale, and again, take it for what it's worth, because my scale isn't a high-end scale, but it does show about a 3 to 4 gram difference. So I believe him that it is the majority of the weight difference is in the handle itself. Now, as far as the stiffness of it, it is 1 penny less based on Tom's measurement, so 16 pennies versus 17. Difference in length and the 1 penny difference in rating, the RFI calculation is still very similar, but it is a little bit different. As opposed to the 4.6, it is 4.4, so again, not going to be noticeable. I took them out in the yard, put the identical 13-foot level lines, number 3, and I was casting them two-handed, switching hands, one at a time, side by side, one after another, and simultaneously in some instances. And you can't tell the difference, and I wouldn't expect to be able to tell the difference if the taper's the same and everything like that. So I haven't fished it yet. Looking forward to it. I already know how it's going to perform based on the KOKORO. So I guess to sum it up, just like Brent told me, it's higher quality cork. It is slightly lighter, 4 to 5 grams, and it is a touch shorter and only 1 penny difference, which is hard to measure, quite frankly. So I think Brent has a real winner on his hands. I know a lot of people on Facebook and have talked about it, can't wait to fish it and that sort of thing. I haven't seen a lot of people that have fished it yet, so if you have, let me know your thoughts, put them in the comments. I appreciate you sharing. Thanks for watching.